Let's argue.
I'm a hoe.
Hello and welcome to Extreme Gameplays, where I play games tirelessly. Today I'm coming in with another Let's Argue video where I go through the God of War community hot takes and give my opinion on them. Make sure to leave your thoughts about today's hot takes in the comments, and if you have a hot take, leave it in the comments as well. And if it gets enough likes, it will be included in the next hot takes video. Let's head into it. Today's first hot take by Foxy, and he's saying the Blades of Chaos in God of War 4 are too underpowered, or in other words, not as powerful as God of War 3, so the axe is better. Now in here, I can't say they're underpowered. A better word would be underutilized, something that God of War Ragnarok is trying to fix with the blades. The axe is better and faster in God of War 4, I agree. You use the axe for optimal place in a lot of situations in God of War 2018. So he's right, and I love how the devs took notes for Ragnarok, because now you have a better incentive to use the blades. I mean, you're doing a lot more with them. Platforming, better and faster and cool animations. Ragnarok is buffing the blades to the maximum, and I love it. And I agree with this take, the axe is better than the blades in God of War 2018. Our next hot take by the Geek Artist. I love your arts, by the way. Anyways, he's saying my favorite realm in God of War 4 is Muspelheim. In its challenge, you get to kind of feel like a god killing 100 enemies at once. Now right here I agree. Other than the challenges that are in there, the aesthetic of the place is also cool. I know people have gotten tired of seeing it in tutorials and combat guides and stuff, but for me that doesn't change anything. It still is my favorite, because you can train in there, you can have challenges, the place is a whole ass volcano, so yeah, I like it and I totally agree with this take. It's my favorite realm. Next hot take by Monster Motion Movies, and he's saying Typhon is one of the most underused characters in the series. In Greek mythology, Typhon was the one monster able to defeat Zeus. He didn't even get a mention in God of War 3. Also, in God of War 2, he's just a titan that breathes ice. But in mythology, he's a giant humanoid snake hybrid with wings that breathes fire and is a son of Gaia and flipping Tartarus. Now, I am not that familiar with the Greek mythology lore. Like, I just learned this today with your comments, so thank you. But here's the thing. They still made a pretty cool premise and story. This comment by my fellow friend and creator of God of War based on the feats he's achieved. Zristos Zimnos, if I didn't butcher the name,
Jonathan?
brought in some points about this. This was a discussion about a possible God of War remake or God of War 2 remake. He has the same point as you. But here's what I think. Typhon might have been really cool and stuff, but still, what God of War 2 did was still really awesome. I mean, the concept of the Sisters of Fate and Zeus and time travel, like, come on, that still was really interesting, so yeah, I don't know. I guess if they fleshed out Typhon, then they wouldn't have fleshed out all the other characters, so yeah, I'm good with how it turned out, but if a possible remake happens, then yeah, sure, flesh out other characters, show some Apollo and some Artemis, and we'll happily buy it. Of course, I would still buy it if it changed literally nothing but the graphics, but still, I'm talking remakes, like if they changed some stuff about the story. So yeah, that's what I think about this take. Next hot take by Guy with a cool profile pic, and he's saying they killed Deimos way too fast. They should have kept him for the next game and have some multiplayer stuff with Kratos and Deimos. Okay, a possible co-op multiplayer type of thing for our next game is a good idea, but let's talk about story-wise. I don't know about you, but for me, Ghost of Sparta has a perfect story. Other than Kratos' mom exposing Zeus, which doesn't make sense, but we don't talk about that. So for me, Deimos died at the right time. You spent all this time searching for him, and you find him, and it's not even 15 minutes with the guy, and boom, he's dead. Kinda sets it up for you how much Kratos suffered. So I don't agree with your take, sorry. Next hot take by Silent! And she or he, but definitely not him, is saying God of War GoS Sparta, while a fun game, had some of the most boring magic attacks. Don't get me wrong, they're cool, but when you have something like God of War 2 and its magic, you can't compete. I agree. Matter of fact, in my opinion, God of War GoS Sparta has the weakest magic attacks in the series. Literally, compared to any other God of War game. Chains of Olympus had some really cool magic attacks. I don't know why they took a step back with GoS of Sparta. So I agree with this take. Next hot take by Huzayf Shahid, and he's saying God of War Ascension and God of War 4 have the best rages. In Ascension, you have to earn the rage, and that makes it fun. In God of War 4, there are a lot of moves like boulders, fists, kick, jump and smash the ground. It's a lot of fun. Also love your content. Thank you. My content loves you too. Now about your hot takes, Mr. What the fuck did you just bring up on this cursed land?
How fucking dare you praise Ascension in any
Fucking
possible fucking way?
Nah, let's get real. I do not agree. I love Ascension's rage mode. I started loving it after my playthrough on the channel. It's very cool and rewarding, but I can't say it's the best, dog. Come on. Compare it to God of War 1, 2, 3, and you see the big picture. However, God of War 4 is up there for me, but still not better than God of War 3's rage mode. I know you have some pretty cool attacks, but it just can't touch the God of War 3 rage mode, in my opinion. That rage mode has everything packed in it, so yeah, it's a very awesome rage mode, but it's not him. Next hot take by Blimpo, and he's saying God of War 2 is the best in the series. It continues a story which was really hard to make a sequel out of, and at the end sets up the amazing finish for the Greek pantheon in the next game. Voice acting, character design, and level design are all phenomenal, and don't get me started on the soundtracks. P.S. You're an amazing content creator. Thank you, man.
You're breathtaking!
Now, I don't know if this is really a hot take. I mean, a lot of people consider it the best in the series, but for me, it's not him. Oh no, seriously, it's just, I don't know. God of War 3 is a gigantic wall that no game can climb over for me, if you catch my meaning. And listen, I played God of War 2 back in the day for nearly 3 years straight on PS2. I fucking love that game to death. Even now, I play it, I would say, 3 to 4 times a week. A phenomenal ass game. But it's my second favorite because God of War 3 has the edge over when it comes to combat. Even while saying that, God of War 2's combat and enemies are all really cool. I just don't think they're better than God of War 3, and I think you should agree. Come on, bro. Like, look at the combat system in God of War 3. And so yeah, God of War 2, the story and what it did really is good. One of, if not the best sequel in the history of gaming. I don't know about that. Maybe Batman Arkham City or Resident Evil 2 have the crown for the best sequel, but God of War 2 sure is up there, right? Right! But it's simply not my favorite because God of War 3 has better combat, enemies, bosses, and so on. Nothing to do with the graphics, by the way, just to let you know. Next hot take by Next hot take by Das saying the tackle move in God of War GoS Sparta, L1 is circle, is heavily underrated. It's really useful as it allows you to throw enemies like in the PS2 games, and it can trigger QTEs. You can even use it in the air. Now give this guy a mention, for the love of God. Yes! This tackle is so cool. I love it so much. You can even use it on Deimos, which is such a nice detail they've included. Against normal enemies, this thing is awesome. You can punch them lightly or heavily until they're deleted from this world, and you can throw them. And when an enemy has a circle on his head, you can run towards him and you trigger the QTE automatically. And you can do it in the air, which looks so good. And still, we're not done. When unlocked, you can input either square to shoulder dash or triangle for this fast attack that launches them. So good. I agree with this take. It's underrated. Next hot take by Appman2, who brings a very nice point. Here's the hot take. Runic attacks should have been linked to the rage meter. Sort of how fighting games like Mortal Kombat, there is super meter that allows for powered up attacks. I think that this would work well since most Runic attacks are already just powered up skills. For example, Glaive-Storm is just a charged up version of the Hunter-Killer skill. This would also add more player agency since you could choose either use the sum of the rage that you have or Runic attacks, or save it to go into Spartan rage mode, and yeah, that's the idea that he has. And I absolutely love this idea. How no one thought about it when making the Runic system is beyond me. It would give you options instead of cooldowns, which is welcome in my book. You either do your special attack or go berserk. It would have made for awesome decision making, like God, now I just want it. Honestly, the best hot takes so far. Anyways, we move on to today's last hot take by J Logan, and he's saying God of War 3 is much less fun to replay than other games due to unskippable cutscenes and a lack of unlockable bonus material. You get only one alternate costume, the rest you had to pre-order, which as lame as hell because half the fun of the PS2 era games was all the extra cool unlockable outfits, weapons, minigames, etc. I'm not gonna attack this man for what he thinks because he's kinda got some good points. The game has 2 hours worth of cutscenes. That's 2 hours of cutscenes that you can't skip. If you casually play the game is about 5 to 6 hours at max. Now imagine out of a 5 hours experience, 2 hours are all unskippable cutscenes. This enrages me, man. This activates my inner Super Saiyan. It activates my Spartan rage. I fixed it. Like, for me it's no problem, as I'm a serious veteran who has a lot of manual saves that help me skip these cutscenes. But for the average player, I guess it holds true in this situation. God of War 3 brought the best combat system to this earth we're living in, but only gave it 3 to 4 hours to shine, which is extremely bad, because the combat is perfect in God of War 3. Imagine if those cutscenes were skippable. A lot more people would have explored the system and would have replayed it to death, but cutscenes stopped these guys from trying. And the latter argument, I guess, does hold up as well. On the original port of the game, you only had Fear Kratos as an alternate costume. You had to buy all the others, something that the remastered version fixed, as they should, because fuck microtransactions. And of course, the lack of New Game Plus. See, the amazing combat system didn't just suffer because of unskippable cutscenes, but also because the game did not have a New Game Plus, which is insane. To this day, they're still not updating this game, please. Because imagine people experimenting with the combat system early on, with New Game Plus and skippable cutscenes. It kinda makes me sad, man. I mean, I got around all these points by glitching the New Game Plus and saving myself all the time that goes into cutscenes by having manual saves that would load me right after the long 3 to 4 minute unskippable cutscene. Oh, and costumes have never really been my thing. The Hydra costume that you guys see me using in God of War 2 is there because I play on very hard, and this costume helps me negating enemy attacks so that I don't die with 3 hits. That's the point. Otherwise, I would be using the God armor in God of War 2, but I don't because it does a lot of damage and it's not fun. So yeah, honestly some very good points in this take. This whole video actually. Thank you guys so much for your hot takes. I really like discussing stuff with y'all. Leave your opinion on today's hot takes. And if you have a hot take regarding God of War, feel free to leave it down in the comments because they might get included on the next hot takes video. However, it has been your Extreme Gamer Zesty. Peace.